Hello, my friends, and welcome back to a new week and thus a brand new Realm News Flash. Your place for all your Minecraft updates within the past week. Before I continue, I should tell you who I am. I am the host of this fine show, The Dark Lord. The one who puts the real in realm and expands your mind one block at a time. Today, I have a few things to report on. Yes, just a few. Java is going from OpenGL to Vulkan. Baby mob drop concludes. Asha Sharma, new Minecraft gaming CEO. Artificial intelligence in Minecraft. And MickeyJoe Part 2. We have a whole lot of subject matter to cover today, my friends. With that said, let's start the show. I'm going to start off this news cycle by reporting that the Minecraft baby drop has finally concluded. I will not be chirping about this too long. I just wanted to announce that it's over. Microsoft sent out a post on Twitter, and now X, with a pic of a baby chick flying off, saying, quote, I'ma head out, end quote. This concluded this yet-to-be-named drop, which ushered in around 45 baby mobs. Many people are excited for this. Many, like myself, are ready to move on. I shall leave it there. People speculate that the naming of this drop will be announced at the Minecraft Live Spring event, which is thought to air in March sometime. I'm guessing sometime, well, actually, I'm going to go with next. We were discussing that the other day. You're going to hear this when his episode comes out, not this Thursday, but next Thursday. And I believe he said the 28th of March was his prediction. Saturday, the 28th. Double check if that falls on Saturday, the 28th. But anyways, I'm going to go with that date. I told him, I said, you know what, that sounds good. I'm going to go with you. And I'm going to go out on a limb and also say that perhaps, maybe, we'll also get a hint of what is going on with the Minecraft Netflix series that was announced nearly 2 years ago. That's just a personal hope. I mean, I don't think personally I'm going to be watching it, who knows. But just because I am curious to know what happened to the dang thing. I did a report over it of spring last year or I think it was maybe closer to summer when it went to the Annecy Film Festival and in France, and I did a whole report over it, following up with it, and nothing really to report on. Go check out that Realm News Flash I'll try to find it for y'all. Anyways, just a personal hope, like I said. Anyways, let's move on to the next piece of news, which is Java is changing its underlying API. On October 22nd, 2025, the staff on Minecraft.net wrote an article titled The Road to Vibrant Visuals on Java. It was a short article that Realm News Flash reported on in the episode titled Realm News Flash number 57, Vibrant Visuals, Snapshot 25W43A, and the Neon Scoop. I'll leave a link to that in the episode description so you can hear about yourself. In summary, the article explains that the modernization goal of introducing a dedicated render thread to enhance rendering performance was nearing completion. The code preparation was mostly finished for entities, block entities, particles, and user interface, with the next steps focusing on chunks and the remaining elements. A crucial task in this process was extracting the game state from the main thread to facilitate rendering on the dedicated render thread. Again, go check out that RNF I mentioned on what I just said if you want more details and broke down into more layman terms. Now, flash forward nearly 4 months later to February 18th, 2026, and the staff at Minecraft.net produced another article titled Another Step Towards Vibrant Visuals. This ties in with the October article directly as a progress report to this new thread and to ease people's minds by being transparent with the inner workings. They announced that they must modernize the technology used to render Minecraft by upgrading it from OpenGL, or Open Graphics Library, as it's known, to transitioning to something called Vulkan. These are known as graphic APIs. API is, or I guess graphic API is Graphic Application Programming Interfaces. That's the full term there, just so you'll know. It's what allows developers to design complex visuals and effects without needing to write hardware-specific code for every device on the market. OpenGL was developed in the 90s, and according to Minecraft.net, they needed to make this transition from OpenGL to Vulkan because Mac OS is no longer recognizing the API because it stopped receiving updates 9 years ago. Yeah, quite a while back, almost a decade. Since Microsoft wants to keep Minecraft as a cross-play video game that can be played on multiple devices, or multiple people playing Minecraft in the same world from multiple devices, they were forced to make the switch, or ultimately this would segregate all Mac OS players from Minecraft. Not only does this allow for Linux, PC, and Mac OS players to continue to play Minecraft together by switching to Vulkan, but this will also make vibrant visuals achievable on Java Edition, which has been highly anticipated for nearly a year or since Chase the Skies released alongside vibrant visuals. Also, Vulkan is a 10-year-old graphics API, which has achieved widespread adoption across major hardware vendors, establishing a strong market presence. Also, Vulkan offers potential performance gains and increased capabilities, making it well-suited for future graphics needs, making it an ideal suitor for Minecraft. There is, however, a caveat, asterisk, in this article under the section titled Introducing Vulkan. The warning reads, quote, "For players whose GPUs are 10 years old or more, Vulkan may not be supported," end quote. GPU, for those of you who don't know, means graphics processing unit, which is the part that, quote, rapidly manipulates and alters memory to accelerate the creation of images for display, end quote, according to Google. I just wanted to let you know that information just in case your device is more than 10 years old. Another piece of information is that OpenGL and Vulkan are both owned and operated by the Kronos Group. According to Kronos.org, quote, "The Kronos Group is an open, member-driven consortium that provides a space for the creation of the interoperability standards that enable developers to harness the full power of the 3D graphics, XR, VR and AR, parallel computing, machine learning, vision processing, and the metaverse," end quote. Now, let's talk about Vulkan a bit. According to docs.vulkan.org, it seems like it is the newest go-to API out there. It leads to better performance and better driver behavior. The key takeaway from this article is that Vulkan is not suitable for everyone. It caters to programmers passionate about high-performance computer graphics and willing to invest time and effort. The article goes on to say that if you're more interested in game development rather than computer graphics, you might want to consider sticking to OpenGL or Direct3D, which won't be deprecated in favor of Vulkan anytime soon. However, the downside of staying with OpenGL is that it won't offer the latest features like ray tracing or AI. OpenGL is in maintenance mode, while Vulkan provides the opportunity for research and new features. Another alternative is to use an engine like Unreal Engine or Unity, which can utilize Vulkan while exposing a more advanced API to you. However, ray tracing isn't completely new to Minecraft. I just want to put that out there. According to a 2022 article published on Minecraft.net, Windows 10 allowed ray tracing made by Minecraft's rendered dragon graphics engine, and you were or are allowed to experience this in selected marketplace worlds that are free to download. I think this switch to Vulkan will naturally make ray tracing possible for everyone with a device that can handle it. Though, the thing that caught my attention was the mention of AI. It makes sense that this new API would be set up to handle artificial intelligence since everything is gearing up towards that direction. And artificial intelligence is not going anywhere. But it makes me a bit uneasy to think that Mojang would ever use AI in Minecraft other than as a testing tool or an informative tool. This is obviously a huge change for Minecraft and for the modding community out there, going from OpenGL to Vulkan, but it seems to be really well received by the Minecraft community so far. I would like to read you a couple comments in light of this change. My first comment comes from my knowledgeable friend, Mint Refresh, who says, quote, "None of what I do is impacted by this, as it's really about modders, but I am glad to see Mojang completely rebuild the oldest parts of the oldest version, Java, instead of letting it remain archaic. I've mostly heard net positive reactions from people on this," end quote. He goes on to add, quote, "I wouldn't know. I know nothing about these APIs, nor what Minecraft's rendering code looks like. What I do know is that devs have been detangling this code for close to a year now, which I imagine makes this process a million times easier than if they tried it in the past," end quote. Thank you for those comments, my friend. Your insights are always held with the highest regard here at Realm News. Moving on to another extremely knowledgeable content creator who I have been following since the beginning of Realm News is The Wither King. The Wither King said, quote, "Oh, thank God, finally. This is going to be so good for the future of the game. Genuinely excited by the technical prospects of this. Mojang, modders, and shader pack creators could be able to go crazy with the visuals of the game with proper Vulkan implementation," end quote. Thank you, The Wither King, for that great comment. I loved it. It appears that this will overall be beneficial to modders. I'm happy to see that this is being well received as opposed to a lot of hate. In fact, I haven't seen any complaints surrounding this topic. I would like to leave the OpenGL to Vulkan transition news right there for today and make our way into a piece of news that is on the fringe of the Minecraft sphere, but is worth reporting because it is the parent company to Minecraft and it involves a console that Minecraft is played on. I want to talk about Minecraft, promoting a new gaming CEO, Asha Sharma, and their plan to revive the Xbox console. I would like to begin this part of the news cycle by giving you a short background into Asha Sharma. A great article published on February 22nd, 2026, titled, "Who is Asha Sharma? How her role impacts the highly anticipated GTA 6 launch in November 2026," written by Nirja Mishra, gives great insight into her career. She has a Bachelor of Science in Business from the University of Minnesota's Carlson School of Management. She served as Chief Operating Officer of Instacart. She was Vice President of Product, overseeing Messenger, Instagram Direct, Messenger Kids, and company-wide platform services. And Sharma led product development for Microsoft's Core AI division, where she worked on artificial intelligence tools and advanced developer technologies. In fact, for 2 years, she was the president of Microsoft's Core AI division. Keep that in mind because Microsoft has been investing heavily in generative AI, in a generative AI model named Muse. Muse, I have an article summation over it right here that I want to read to you. Quote, "Microsoft's new generative AI model, Muse, is designed to assist game developers in the creative process. The model can generate diverse gameplay ideas and optimize game preservation by optimizing older games for different devices. However, The article also highlights the limitations of AI in game creation, emphasizing the importance of human creativity and oversight in the process, end quote. I emphasize her background in AI regarding Sharma, her background in AI and Microsoft's intrigue with Muse, because this is something that needs to be monitored by us, the consumer, to make sure it doesn't leak into Minecraft. Many times, corporations will say things such as, quote, good stories are human-made, end quote, and, quote, AI is only a tool for artists, end quote, just as a distraction from what they are truly doing, which is trying to squeeze every last dollar out of you. Moving on, she laid out a 3-point plan in Microsoft's corporate blog made on February 20th, 2026, titled Asha Sharma named EVP and CEO Microsoft Gaming. Allow me to cover those points. The first point is this: great games. She wants to bolster existing studios, invest in new iconic franchises, and empower new ideas. And she wants to enter into new markets where they can, quote unquote, add real value. Again, folks, these are very PR, politically correct blanket statements that are quite common amongst rule changes in corporations. So, it is expected that she was going to deliver vague statements without any real specifics. The second point is return of Xbox. She wants to recommit to their dedicated Xbox players. She says, quote, we will celebrate our roots with a renewed commitment to Xbox, starting with the console which has shaped who we are, end quote. She wants to continue to expand into the PC, mobile, and cloud sectors and make the Xbox experience seamless in doing so. Something else that I had read, just a side thing real quick, is that cloud computing has become Microsoft's biggest stream of revenue the past few years. Anyways, she states that she wants to break down barriers so developers can build one time but reach all devices and platforms. It sounds like they are focusing heavily on crossplay, but with the Xbox in mind or in the focal point of this quote-unquote breaking barrier strategy. Or that's how I'm reading all this. Now, let's move on to the third point, which she calls future of play. She wants to keep the same iconic teams, characters, and worlds that are popular amongst players, but she also understands that the gaming world is always changing and isn't static. She goes on to say that she doesn't want to treat these worlds, characters, and teams as static entities used to milk money out of them forever. She explains that she wants to build a platform where players and developers can create and share their stories. Something really important that I will quote from her in this point is, quote, we will not chase short-term efficiency or flood our ecosystem with soulless AI slop, end quote. She continues to say that games will continue to be art made by humans who use the best technology possible to do so. However, many people are skeptical of her because of her profound background in the AI and her non-existent background up to this point in time in the gaming sector. She's no experience in the gaming sector. I mentioned Instacart, Facebook, no games. It will be interesting to see, or I should say Meta. It will be interesting to see how this plays out. The only reason that she is being mentioned in today's episode is because Microsoft has used AI in Minecraft before, and she is highly tied to AI. You may not realize this, but AI has been tested in Minecraft for since at least 2016. Your host found an article titled Minecraft to Run Artificial Intelligence Experiments, written by Leo Kellyon, published on March 14th, 2016. It says that a software platform at the time called AIX could be installed that is, quote, a software platform that hooks into Minecraft and allows the artificial intelligence code to control a character and give feedback about the consequences of its actions, end quote. Otherwise, it becomes agentic, or acts under its own volition. Katja Hoffman, who led the Microsoft Research Cambridge lab in the United Kingdom at the time this article was published, is quoted saying, quote, "People build amazing structures that do amazing things in Minecraft. And this allows experimenters to put in tasks that will stretch AI technology beyond its current capacity," end quote. The end goal of this is for there to be a living, autonomous entities in the game of Minecraft that could be easily created by people of all ages and expertise. Children, in theory, could create and then interact with their own creations in Minecraft. Their creations would essentially take on their own role in the game's environment and act as its own agent, hence the term agentic. Professor Jose Hernandez Oreo from the Technical University of Valencia was one of the few people who were given access to this new technology at the time. He is quoted saying, "Kids could create agents in a world they are already fascinated with and play with them," end quote. He added, quote, "This could boost young people's interest in artificial intelligence, and we expect that in the next 10 to 20 years, we are going to need more people working in the area," end quote. Well, he was right. Here we are in 2026, and AI is officially one of the biggest industries. However, Mojang has taken a stance that it will not use generative AI to develop or create Minecraft. Agnes Larson, the director of the Minecraft vanilla game, as per an article in IGN, shared some insights on AI in Minecraft. Quote, "I think it's important that it makes us feel happy to create as humans. That's a purpose. It makes life look beautiful. So for us, we really want to be our teams that make our games," end quote. She also stated, quote, "Here for us, just like Minecraft is about creativity and creating," end quote. I couldn't agree with you more, Miss Larson. Please keep it that way. Don't ever let the changing of the guard jeopardize this principled commitment to keeping AI out of Minecraft, please. Well, folks, I know I threw out a lot of quotes and names out there today over AI in Minecraft and OpenGL going to Vulkan. This has been a very technical episode so far. I just hope it wasn't too over the top for you all. I just want you to be the most informed as possible about all of this. There is a lot going on in the world today in the space of video games and technology that I feel I should elaborate on. That is why I explain so much. And I think it is good to understand Minecraft's parent company, Microsoft, as well. So expect more episodes like this in the future, folks. With that said, let's shift gears and leave this week's news cycle behind and go on to the Realm News portion of the show, where I will give you a preview into my part 2 discussion with the talented pixel artist, MickeyJoe. That's right, my friends. I have on Realm News, once again, the extremely talented MickeyJoe, back for the conclusive Part 2 discussion. Allow me to read to you the episode description before I play the clip. In this episode of Realm News, we dive into a laid-back, podcast-style chat with a talented Minecraft content creator, MickeyJoe. He unravels his unique creative process behind designing resource/data packs and stunning models for Minecraft. Discover how he chooses which game elements to redesign, focusing on artistic inspiration and personal fulfillment rather than chasing trends. Join us as we explore the balance between passion projects and commission work, the dynamics of collaboration, and the pivotal moment when a project feels quote-unquote complete. We also touch on his personal journey, hobbies, the importance of taking breaks, and how Minecraft intertwines with real-world biology and history. Now that you have a good understanding of what to expect in Part 2, let's take a listen to this clip. Do you think Minecraft's art style helps foster creativity? Like, while you're doing this? Like, just
Definitely. Yeah, because of the inhibition. What's it called? Yeah, because of the limits in pixel art, for sure,
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah, okay. And why is that? What is it about the block and pixels that you like? What is that? What's the intrinsic value to you from that? What is, because you're an artist, you could have chose any medium to work with, but
I
you
mean, I
chose
have.
pixels and
I've done
blocks.
graffiti, and I've done a lot of stuff. But definitely, I've stuck with the nerdiest of things, pixel art. Apparently, it's also
I don't.
no, it's fine. I mean, it's also that it's like relatively easy, right, to get into. You can get results quick. You get takes you like, I don't know, maybe an hour if you put in a bit of effort to get a model done, right? You can reload the game and you see it right away, so it's very satisfying. But what I like the most about it, I guess, it has to do with the simplicity. You have to convey information with a very limited amount of pixels, and also somehow the rules of pixel art have decided that you need a limited palette too. But I enjoy that too. It makes it more art, right? It also makes it more of a puzzle, because there's not infinite ways. There is literally infinite ways the pixels can be. But if you're trying to convey a piece of information, it needs to be the right shape, right? It needs to interpret the right feeling to the recipient. It's very important. You need to see it. Sometimes from a distance, it works well. If you look at pixel art from a distance and you start to just feel the shape of what it's trying to convey, and that's when you did it, I guess. I don't know. And sometimes you make stuff and you feel like, wow, I conveyed this perfectly, and you look at it back a year later, you're like, this is so shit. But that's fine too. That's part of the project process. It's satisfying because you can see it quickly, unless you're doing bigger pieces. I've done that too. It takes weeks to complete. That's fine too. But for getting into it, it's just easy. That's why I recommend anyone give it a try. Minecraft texture packs, pixel art, give it a try. Is that a good answer?
You mentioned weeks. What's an example of something that took you weeks to make?
I like my Ravagers again. My Ravagers. Basically what I did for Ravagers is I added custom models for every villager profession, because in my opinion, and you might agree with me, Ravagers are transformed villagers somehow, right?
Yes. That's what it. I've read the theories on Reddit, and yeah, that seems like to be the strongest one, honestly.
Right. I just agreed with it. I just kind of went with it, and I thought to myself, Mojang wouldn't do a gory version, so let's just do that. So that's what I did. I made like a really literally like a villager's face, and like all stretched out and whatever. And then I did
Man,
versions for all the villager professions as well. So I added big constructions on their backs, mostly like a crane for the shepherd that has a sheep dangling, kind of like a carrot on a stick, right? Stuff like that, funny stuff like
wow.
that. But that is like a huge undertaking. So it's one mob, and kind of want to reveal it all in one sort of thing. That's kind of how I like to do it, I guess. Sometimes, for the most part. So that will take a really long time, and I can't like show anything off in the meantime. So I'll be DMing my friends secret models that I haven't released yet.
I need to go find that Ravager he designed. It sounds grotesquely cool. I just loved hearing MickeyJoe talk about pixel art and his insights. You will not want to miss this Thursday's episode. It's a full hour and a half of us discussing the most interesting aspects of Minecraft. With that said, that wraps up all I have for this week on Realm News Flash. I hope you all enjoyed it. I wish you all a great rest of your day or night, depending on where you are in the world, and happy crafting. The Dark Lord. Signing out. Hey, Realm News fans, it's your host, the Dark Lord, the one who puts the real in Realm and expands your mind one block at a time. I am here to tell you that your support means everything. Spread the word by telling friends, liking, and commenting on Spotify or GoodPods. Find me on X, Blue Sky, Reddit, or via email at bio.link/realmnews. For more content, join my Patreon at the Copper tier for early episodes, bonus content, and newsletters. Find out more at bio.link/realmnews. No pressure though. Just keep listening, liking, and sharing. That's more than enough. Happy crafting, and see you at the next Realm News.